Oh, hi. I forgot I even had the camera on. Well, Boomhauer69 here, and today's video, Boomhauer69 is going to be on his Master Cook charcoal grill. I'm going to be simply cooking up a holiday Thanksgiving type meal, if you want to call it that. Basically, this is what I would simply do if I was a person that was homeless, didn't have any other way of cooking food, and couldn't get to a homeless shelter for a meal, you know, a soup kitchen for a meal or whatever, and I wanted to make myself a holiday meal, and I simply came up with some money and stuff and saved to buy this stuff. This is how I would do a Thanksgiving holiday dinner for myself if I was homeless, living on the streets, you know, in the woods or whatever. So without further ado, let's get this show on the road. So first off, what I'm going to have to do is, over here I got my Master Cook little barbecue charcoal grill. And so what I got to do first is simply get the hot coals going and get the fire started. And I done videos about these diamond striker fire, and the striking part on these don't work very good. So if you buy these, make sure you have a lighter of some sort. This is one of those El Cheapo wing lighters that I did a few days ago a video about. So without further ado, I'm going to get this nice lovely char of fire going and see if I can't make a nice bed of hot coals. Yes, I'm using fire starter in this. Now, if I could, I would, in a homeless situation, if I could afford it, I would definitely be using some sort of fire starter, you know, going to like a local grocery store in their barbecue camping section, find whatever they had, or just simply use newspaper. And as you can tell, I got big pieces, small pieces all mixed in with this to help get the fire going. So since it's kind of windy out, sometimes I would do the what they call the drop down method, where I put my fire tinder stuff on top of the big stuff and then let the ashes burn down. But since it's kind of a little bit on the tad bit windy side, I'm going to I just simply put the fire starter underneath my tinder in this charcoal grill. And my goal is to get kind of a nice bed of hot coals going, so I can simply heat up the frozen mashed potatoes here. These Boston Market home-style mashed potatoes. Now, one thing, these mashed potatoes here, they don't have a stovetop direction on these. All they have is conventional oven and microwave, but I'm just going to simply, in my big old pot here, open these bad boys up and then dump them in this pot when I'm ready to do so. Once I get the bed of hot coals are going in my grill. And then when I'm going to be cooking for the main meat, I decided instead of turkey, I'm going to do ham sandwich meat. And this is what I would do in a situation where I'm living out in the woods. You know, I want to have a Thanksgiving dinner, holiday dinner, you know, whatever, Christmas, Thanksgiving. I would definitely go with this right here. I'll give you a close-up. Right there. That's the brand of meat I would go with and stuff. And then I got some store generic brand baked beans. Gotta have baked beans. And some golden sweet corn for the vegetable. I got some brown gravy, some Heinz brown gravy in a jar. Now, the reason why I didn't go with the mashed potatoes in a pouch, the little mashed potato flakes that you add water to, you boil up some water and then you dump the flakes inside and stir it up, is because, first of all, I look at it, this is what I would do if I was homeless and I simply was in an area where finding safe water to be able to use to cook and drink with might be scarce. Maybe there's not a good water source around me to get some water and maybe boil up some water and do what and make it safe to drink or something. So I went with a scenario where basically I wouldn't have a way to get some water or whatever. So that's why I went with these two types of ingredients. Because normally for gravy, what I do is I buy the little gravy packets that you mix water in. But for this video's sake, I thought about that scenario. What if I couldn't get water? So I thought I would go with frozen mashed potatoes and then some gravy. Now the gravy you would normally just pour. This is just one of those you pour in a dish and then you simply microwave it, or you do the stovetop where it says this has got stovetop directions where it says heat gravy in a saucepan over medium heat and stir occasionally. So this here has stovetop directions where all you gotta do is heat it up in the pan and stir it occasionally and stuff. Now I like some sort of bread with my dinner, so what I did was I got some from the bakery already pre-made rolls. Now what I would probably do in a homeless situation differently, I didn't think about this until I have already bought these, is I probably would just get plain old white bread or wheat bread, sandwich bread instead, so that way I could it be a little more versatile to use and stuff, and then versus these kind of dinner rolls, I would probably not get these because, yeah, you could still use these to make like little mini sandwiches and stuff if you have any ham left over or any sandwich meat. What I would instead would just go with some regular bread, like sandwich square bread and stuff, for because it'd be a little more versatile. You could toast it and put butter on it, and a little more. I say it would be a little more handy than these kind of dinner rolls. Is what I didn't think about that until after I did it. And yes, you're gonna get smoke because the way the wind's blowing. I'm not sure of that. Now, as far as ham went, I got sandwich meat ham because that's usually one of the cheapest meats out there you can get and stuff. This only cost me around excuse me, $3 to $4, roughly and stuff. So all in all, what I bought here and stuff, as far as food wise, is simply everything came to around about $30, a little bit around. I think around about $28, $30 or so, roughly, for everything. So stuff, and then I also got just some butter for my mashed potatoes and stuff. Gotta have butter, but yeah, roughly around $30 and stuff. And so once I get a nice good thing of coals going over here, then I'll start cooking all this stuff up. Now I'm making this video for people who may be homeless and not be realizing that, hey, you can have a little bit of a Thanksgiving meal even if you're homeless. First thing I would try to do is find a local homeless shelter and throw it for food and stuff. But if you didn't have one in your area, find a nice little grocery store, get you turn in some pop cans, pop bottles, don't be afraid to ask for help too. There's people out there willing to give and stuff. And so yeah, this is just simply what I would do in a situation if I was homeless living on the streets. I would simply have this charcoal grill here going with a nice bed of hot coals to make the meal and stuff. And so I'm just making this video to show people that, hey, not everybody has the luxury of a nice microwave, a gas stove or electric stove, a nice access to a nice kitchen, and want to prove to people that you can still out there have a nice meal as long as you got a way to make some sort of fire and stuff. and that's why I'm doing this video. And also to just kind of help educate people. Maybe somebody out there might see this video and they might be homeless themselves and say, hey, why didn't I think of that? And that might give them some new ideas, out there later on and stuff, As long as you got some more pot with a lid on it, then, you could easily, find maybe a nearby apartment complex that might let you go dumpster diving, and because they always have. Sometimes people get evicted from places, and sometimes you might get lucky, and you might in one of their dumpsters find a cooking pot, or simply go to our local thrift store. There's one in my area where if I was in a homeless situation and I needed a cooking pot, I could go in there and say, hey, I'm homeless, I need a cooking pot, and they would hook me right up with one and get the ball rolling. Don't be afraid to, simply ask and stuff. So, but yeah, I'm gonna tend to this fire and then I'll come back and start cooking everything. Now that I got a nice bed of hot coals going on it. How you can tell you got a nice hot bed of coals if you blow on it. And you get that kind of orangey glow. Then you know you got your pretty nice bed of hot coals. So I think I'm ready to get this show on the road. So, takes a while to get your coals going. I've always struggled with trying to get a nice bed of hot coals going. I'm not the professional fire starter guy, professional fire builder. So yes, these are frozen, but there's a lovely brick of mashed potatoes. Put that right in there. Put the lid on it. I'll simply put this on the stove here. See if we can't get a nice thing of mashed potatoes going. So now, and I'm sorry if you can't see too well the camera angle of the pot here, but I'll show you what it looks like when it's all said and done and it's fully cooked and everything, the mashed potatoes. Just gotta break them up here. Now, one thing I would recommend doing is if you buy mashed potatoes, like frozen mashed potatoes, you might try to get the ones that have a good stovetop directions on how to cook it on a stove. Because if you get the ones that got stovetop directions, then you're gonna have a little more funner time with the mashed potatoes. It's gonna be a lot easier to cook, because then obviously on an open campfire you'll be able to do it a lot better. These ones should not come with some stovetop directions, microwavable, microwave and conventional oven. So I'm just trying for the best. Here. I'll show you what we got for consistency. Here's what we got. Kind of soup. Oh, I imagine they'll harden up over time. But this is the first time trying this, and hey, seeing what happens. Boy, they thickened up. At first I almost thought I had a fail going on here, but I thickened up. Got that same old heat on them bad boys. At first I thought I was gonna have soupy mashed potatoes, but I had to run them set a little bit, you know. I'm no professional cook, you know. Trust me, I would not be on that on Chef Gordon Ramsay's TV show. That's for sure. Unless they wanted a guy that would be cussing and a fussing, then maybe. But yeah, these mashed potatoes are starting to look more like mashed potatoes. So. Yes, I'm the only one that's going to be eating this, so I ain't worried about if I lick the fork. Obviously, if you're going to be feeding a bunch of people, you know you don't want to be licking the utensils, especially if you're cooking in a restaurant. But it's all about having fun. Ooh, boy, look at that. Hot dog, hot diggity dog. So here's what the mashed potatoes look like. Nice steamy. And this is proof that you can cook frozen mashed potatoes on an open campfire, you know. These didn't have stovetop directions. I said that before. They only had conventional oven directions and simply microwave instructions. So I'll show you the brand again. So if you get these kind of Boston Market ones for camping, you know, you stop at a local party store that's nearby your campsite and stuff, and you get these. I will warn you, at first they're going to turn out kind of soupy, but once they start heating up and you kind of mix them up, you'll get some nice, you know, mashed potatoes. So, what I'm going to do is, since I got to use this pan again, I'll use this as my hot plate, the lid, as my hot water type plate warmer, so I don't burn my lovely thing here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab one of these Ziploc baggies, because if I only have one and I have now obviously in a homeless situation, I'd probably just scoop all these mashed potatoes on one of these lovely paper plates, but what I'm going to do is simply scoop these in the here into this scoop a bunch of these in the paper in this Ziploc baggie here. Scoop as much of this as I can. Get me some silverware here. Now this is just dollar store coterie. So grab me a spoon here. Now these are warm. These will be all right. They're not gonna melt the bag. You know, somebody might say, "Oh, you're gonna melt that bag." No, you're not. Scoop all these into this bag here. Matter of fact, I'll scoop some onto a plate for myself. Well, yeah, I'm wild. For a minute there, I thought these mashed potatoes were going to be a fail, and I was going to, you know, have a few unchristian words to say. Because, yes, I am a sinner, and I swear. So, you know, Jesus said in the Bible, nobody's perfect but the I am that I am. Talking about Jesus. Nobody is perfect. Everyone's a sinner. That's why Jesus Christ died on the cross for our sins. Because he knew we could not pass the test to get into heaven. So he basically took the test for us. So yeah, I got some pretty big Ziploc baggies here. A little bit too biggy, but either way. Good thing about using these Ziploc baggies to make it easier to get the rest of these mashed potatoes out when I want more later on, I can just squeeze the bag and do a reheat. Yeah. Well, I'm actually kind of excited because I didn't ruin this meal, because at first I was like, oh crap, what did I do? Because this is the very first time I ever tried this, so I'm kind of, you know how you get when you realize you didn't fail. So I wasn't thinking, like, because I make those potato pouches where you boil up the water, and then when the water's all nice and boiled, you just add your flakes and stir real good, and that's all I had to do with these, is just stir them up really good. So again, if you get these kind of mashed potatoes, there's those Boston Market ones, and you do like I did, or you cook them on the stove. You just gotta wait until they get kind of heated up, and then stir them, and eventually I would try on low to medium heat, and that's actually one of the few first times that I have successfully made a nice bed of hot coals where I can actually cook on. A lot of times I have to resort to my backup plan, hot dogs, and go from there, Yep. So without further ado, now let's see. I think still got a nice little bed of hot coals. Let's work on putting beans on. So I'm using just my local Meijer store brand baked beans, original. Some people like Bush's baked beans, which I do, but for cheapness, I went with the store brand. And we'll get the beans going. Now, you can cook corn. This corn and beans are just simply, throw it in a pot and low to medium heat until it's warm. Same thing with this corn. I'm not going to do the corn because my bed of hot coals is starting to get kind of low down and stuff, so I'm not going to cook the corn. But corn, just simply throw it in a pot, wait a few minutes until it gets kind of warm, and then go from there. So I'm not going to worry about making corn and stuff. Now, one thing you do, like with this charcoal grill here, is get you some aluminum foil, and simply, if you had some extra money and stuff, get some aluminum foil and then put one of these dinner rolls on the aluminum foil, or wrap it in aluminum foil. And since this has got a grill grate, you could simply, toast you up a nice, kind of warm you up a dinner roll, which I'm not gonna bother, but one thing I am going to do after those beans, stir those beans up. Get the beans kind of, I got it. Now the gravy is the same way. The gravy is just simple stovetop. Heat gravy saucepan over mean heat, stir occasionally, and then heat it up and stuff. But now this is Heinz homestyle brown gravy. Again, the reason why I went with this kind of gravy versus the little gravy packets, because this is for a situation where, for instance, I couldn't get hold of water or something, and I had to really. Okay. Now, one trick you could do is, corn usually has water in it, and if you had one of those gravy packets and you didn't care about your gravy kind of having a corn flavor to it, you could save the juice from that, and you'd have about a cup of water, and there you go. And then two, you need to rehydrate yourself, drink some corn juice, Now I'll show you what this gravy looks like cold. I'm gonna put it on my mashed potatoes cold, but because my bed of coals is getting down, and I don't feel like sparking up more coals. But again, there's what it looks like in a jar. One thing I would do as a homeless person, if I was homeless, this lovely little jar, after I got done eating the contents out of it, save the jar, use it to maybe put some things in, or simply save it for a drinking jar to, you know, if you found a water source and you had a way to, with your pot, boil up some water, you know, put a little bit of water in here, and when it's done boiling, and have a handy little jar for drinking or whatever, you know, maybe put a small fishing kit in here, some fishing line, whatever the heck. Possibilities are endless. Now let's check on the beans here. Stick my finger in there, if you know. Oh yeah, they're warm. They're nice and warm. Now set this off to the side. Now the reason why I'm using these tables to simply make it easier for you folks to see what I'm doing on camera and stuff. I'm no professional camera guy. I don't know how to do proper angles and stuff. There'd be professional YouTubers that would do this sort of video, and they'd be really filming the whole cooking area there and stuff. Now what I'm going to do is to simply heat up some ham. I'll show you how thin it is, which is not bad, you know, as far as thickness and thinness of ham, but I'll give you a close-up here. This is the generic store brand ham. Obviously, most people would shop at a Walmart and get the Walmart Great Value brand, but I shop at the Myers here in Michigan, and so there's how thick the meat is. And this is just regular old cooked ham, you know, keep refrigerated. Now, they sell this in big packs, and also in this size too. This is their small size, and then they have like for $7 a big pack of meat. So what I'm going to do is take 2 slices and just simply right on top of the old grill there and go to town. Right on there on the bed of hot coals, and then I'll use my trusty little fork to flip them. And this is how I would do a Thanksgiving dinner. Get one of these buns here. Holiday Thanksgiving dinner if I was homeless and I had nothing, no other way to simply cook meals and stuff. Now this meat is just regular old sandwich meat. Again, like you would use to make your a ham sandwich, you know. So, toast it up. Yeah, I think I got enough of that hot. Okay. Oh yeah. That's done. And I'll show you the plate when I'm all said and done with everything. What all it looks like. A close up of everything. Oh yeah, that's nice. I'm just warming up the meat. I'm not trying to kind of like brown it up because it's already fully cooked. I'm just giving it some heat to warm it up. Oh yeah, that's nice. Ooh, that's hot. What I'm going to do is I am going to, for video's sake, brown up the gravy, because I know my coals are. I got plenty of. At first, I didn't think I had enough hot coals here to. But I think I'm going to put a little bit of this. Everything was caution here, and try not to make a mess. And though you're in the outdoors, you want to leave it like you found it, you know. That's why I say these charcoal barbecue grills, these little charcoal grills, they'd be perfect for a homeless person. Because then that way they don't gotta try to make a fire on the ground and show the world that, hey, I was here, and you know, scare the neighborhood or whatever. Or, you know, because sometimes that can be an issue sometimes, you know. Because, you know, obviously homeless people are camping in areas where camping is normally not allowed, sometimes, so take that into consideration. That's why I say these would be perfect, because you could easily dig you a hole, and you could easily build your little campfire in these, and when everything's all cooled down and stuff, you could easily when everything's all cooled down and stuff, you could easily, if you have you could easily put in like a trash bag your ashes or whatever, and throw it in a trash bin, and then away you go, and nobody would know you was even there, especially if you just pick up sticks and twigs off the ground. That's actually what I did to use for fuel for this. Instead of using charcoal, I just used simply sticks and twigs that I found around in my yard to make this lovely little meal here. My whole purpose and goal with this is to teach people, hey, you don't need to have a fancy kitchen, a stove or microwave or stuff, get creative, Even if you're not homeless, and you're like me, you're not homeless, but, you may have one foot in that step, get creative, educate yourself. So if you end up in hard times, and, you end up in hard times, you'll be able to, know a thing or two, and make it a little easier when those times come and stuff. That's the way I look at it, Doing these videos, I'm doing these videos to, like these cooking videos is to show people that, hey, there's other ways you can cook, but also for a homeless person that might have access to the internet somehow, whether it's a local library or they got a cell phone and Wi-Fi McDonald's, and they stumble upon this video, and they're new, there's somebody that's maybe was in a wealthy family where they had butlers and people cook for them, and they never thought of this idea before, and stuff. So, or they just simply, they're homeless and all nervous, and they, they're new to the whole homeless thing, and they're all nervous, like, oh, what do I do? I ain't got a stove to cook food, and then they might, oh yeah, that'd be a good idea, and help them out and stuff, just educate people. And to me, using these little charcoal barbecue grills, I feel like it makes it a lot easier to cook on the ground. And then on top of that, you don't have to try to rig up something to a homemade jobber to, simply, mount to hold your pot up. Because, obviously if you put your pot, your cooking pot directly on your hot coals, you're going to snuff out your coals, and then you're going to have a cold dinner. Now, with this setup, it's got a nice little grill grate that I can use as a stovetop to do my cooking, I could be over here with a pan, and then I could be over here cooking with stuff. Now, the reason why in this video you didn't see me adding anything over here and stuff, because my coals were about in the middle, so I had to simply use up the space. If I would have readjusted my coals over to one side and then some over here, I could have utilized the space, and stuff a lot more. But yeah, it makes it so much easier on one of these. That's why I recommend, if you know an area that donates to the local homeless and stuff, and they take supplies, buy some of these cheap little charcoal barbecue grills. You can get them cheap, This one I bought at Menards for $20, and gift it to them, because it would make cooking so much easier and stuff. And that's what I'm trying to show to people, that hey, these become handy and stuff. So I saw one on Amazon. It was a round one for $17 to $18. That would even be perfect too. Let me stick my finger in here and do the burn test. Oh, she's getting a little warm. It'll take a little longer. The coals are starting to get kind of cooled down. And the fuel, again, it's just simply sticks and twigs that over time I picked off the ground and put in a little basket pile, because I have over here a little green basket that I fill up with little twigs and sticks that I break up here and there and stuff for fuel for this thing. But the most important thing to make sure to do is before you break out your food and stuff and start opening everything up, make sure you got a really nice good bed of hot coals and stuff. Make sure you get your bed of hot coals going, you know, make sure you know how much wood you're gonna need. So first gather up your wood, get your folding saw out, start gathering up some wood and make sure you got a nice bed of hot coals. And coals are going so that way you can safely so that way you can cook your food and you know you got the right amount of coals to cook your food so you don't end up with stuff being cold or end up with having your fire go out and having cold food and stuff. And you don't want to be trying to cook on high flames like you do when you're roasting hot dogs and s'mores, because what will happen is you'll run the risk of burning your food and stuff, and it won't cook right and it'll be all burnt and not gonna taste the greatest. Okay, the gravy is done. Now here's what the gravy looks like after it's been heated up. Pretty warm. Pour a little bit of that gravy on the mashed potatoes. There we go. And one suggestion I would do is, if when it comes to canned goods, try to, if you don't have a can opener, try to get canned goods that have pull tabs on them. Even if it's a little bit more expensive, it'll save your butt from trying to take a rock and crack open your canned good and then lose all the juice and most of the food and stuff. Well, mix these mashed potatoes up. I'll show you the final results after all that time. I better double up on these cheap. And yes, I used the cheap, ever so beautiful cheap paper plates. You know, the ones that you walk back to your table or spot and you end up losing your food. The ones that you gotta double up on. But because, well, it's all about money. So there's what a $30 meal on a campfire, we'll just call it barbecue grill campfire. You know, most people are homeless will probably cook this sort of meal on the ground, but there's what a meal would look like if I was homeless and I was able to come up with the money to be able to get this sort of food. If I couldn't, get the money to somehow, whether panhandling or in Michigan here we have a bottle return policy where people can simply turn in their canned goods and stuff, turn in their soda pop cans and get a 10 cents deposit back on it. If I couldn't come up with that, I would definitely try to come up with a way to get a TV dinner sort of meal. Maybe get a TV dinner. If I couldn't come up with the money to get all these, then I would just simply go in the frozen food section, look for a TV dinner that would satisfy me, and go from there. But I wanted to do a situation where if you had the right enough money, you could do a little bit of ingredients. So yeah. And I'm really shocked that the mashed potatoes turned out. At first I thought they were going to be a fail, but they're just right. Oh yeah, this is good. Now, obviously, for being outside, this is already a little cold, but yeah, with the gravy on them and the mashed potatoes and the butter, them Boston Market mashed potatoes definitely taste okay. Beans taste just like any old baked beans. Yeah, a little piece of the meat here. Well, and these dinner rolls, they're just my local store that I shop at, some brand of little dinner rolls and stuff. So what they make in their bakery department. Obviously, Hawaiian rolls might be a little more cheaper to get and stuff. Go in the bread section and stuff. I just went in the bakery section and just grabbed whatever I could find as far as biscuits go and stuff. But all in all, this meal cost me around $30 to get, roughly around $30, $20 to $30. That's including the drink. Soda pop too, because I like soda pop, so I bought a soda pop and for the drink. So all in all, $30 to for just to buy the food to make it. Now, obviously, if you need to go out and buy a pot and a pan and a metal fork, and yes, I use this for everything to prove that all you need is one metal utensil to do your fancy cooking and stirring. You don't need 9 million things. Obviously, homeless people are not going to have every little thing under the sun to cook food with. So basically, about if you had to buy the grill, let's say you had to go out and buy the grill, you're going to spend about, 30, 40, 50, about $50. Then the pan, tag on or $10, if you're buying it brand new, or 15, that's just one amount with cheapo. But yeah, so you got I'm gonna say around $80 in this meal if you didn't already have the utensils to do the cooking. But if you already had the utensils to do the cooking and everything, or you're just gonna cook it on the ground and rig you up some sticks to hold up your pot and pan so you don't snuff out your hot coals, then you're looking at roughly around $30 just for the food itself. That's not including the Ziploc baggies or the paper plates or stuff, and the silverware and stuff. That's just the food ingredients. So yeah, around $30 and stuff. But this is something I would do if I was homeless, and yeah, and I will prove it to you. There's no stovetop directions, and yes, you can cook these on an open campfire. You just gotta kind of stir them up a little bit there to get a nice, to get them to thicken them up. It's just they'll at first boil kind of soupy, and then you just gotta stir them up really good to get a nice little bit of thickness. So, if you like this sort of content, give this video a thumbs up or a thumbs down. If you didn't like it, comment your thoughts below. Which is a good video, bad video? What did you think? Did you, what is your thoughts? Again, this is just for people that might be new to the whole homeless situation and don't know what to do and might not, have very much experience in cooking on campfires and stuff, and prove to people that, hey, if you can build a fire, you can do that stuff, this stuff is not much common knowledge here and stuff, so. And this, maybe somebody comes along that was homeless and never even thought of this idea and thought, hey man, I never thought of that. Why didn't I think of that? And might help them out one way or another. My goal was to try to help those out in need that may one way or another, and also to prove to people that you can cook microwave food that normally in a microwave over a campfire that may not know that, because let's face it, some people don't know that stuff, which is common knowledge. It should be common knowledge, but sometimes common sense ain't always common. So if you like this sort of video, give this a thumbs up or a thumbs down. If you didn't like it, comment your thoughts below. This is again what I would try to do in a homeless situation if I had the funds and means to do so. And I thought I just want to help people out there that may stumble upon this video and they simply never thought of this. They're new to the whole homeless situation, or they're new to this way of cooking or whatever, or they're living off grid and for the first time, or whatever the case may be. It's to try to help people out and stuff. And yes, I know I forgot to pray before the food, before mentioning on the food, so let's do that. Dear Heavenly Father, I come to you today in prayer and ask for your blessing of this wonderful food, and bless this video as well, that it may help people out and stuff that may stumble upon this video, and for those that just like watching my videos for entertainment purposes, may it be a good, entertaining, and informative video for them as well, and any other people out there watch it. And I pray in Jesus' name, our Father, whose heart is in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, as earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and to forgive our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Because thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. So, don't forget to share this video with everybody you know. And I hope you all have a good day. And thank you for watching Boomhauer69's YouTube channel.